bowls of rice or $16, 16-hour days.
And isn't the iPhone and most electronics made by precious metals or like the
Minerals,
like
minerals.
where people are shot daily for these,
Well, all this shit that's going on in Afghanistan,
Right.
a lot of what they're going to get out of the ground there is shit to make an iPhone.
Right, exactly.
It is. It's a fucking incredible find. $1 trillion worth of minerals. They're like, we just found it. We didn't even know it was
Yeah.
there. Meanwhile, they said the Soviet Union discovered this shit 30 years ago.
Yeah.
They just couldn't figure out how to get it out, and they couldn't figure out how to fucking control the region.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing? Joe Diaz, give us your wisdom. What the fuck are we doing having wars in 2010? Why do people still tolerate it?
Because the heroin's kicking over there in Afghanistan.
It's got to have something to do with the heroin,
got
right?
to do what you got to fucking do. It hasn't stopped. This war hasn't stopped, and it ain't gonna stop.
People think that it's ridiculous to think that heroin has something to do with this war, but all you need to know, and these are real facts, is that over 90% of the world's heroin is grown in Afghanistan. Over 90%.
Where's the other 10%?
Where the fuck is that money going? Is it going to warlords? Because if it is, where's their private jets, okay? Where's the warlord? How come the warlord isn't living like the fucking Sultan of Brunei? You know? Why? Where are they? How come they don't have that money?
Maybe they do.
They don't. They don't.
Know.
It's not like Mexico. It's not like
Where
Mexico.
is that heroin money going?
That shit's coming straight to America, son. That shit's being flown in. Barry Seals in the fucking New World Order. They're all flying that shit in propeller planes.
Barry Seal. Look Barry Seal up. Educate these motherfuckers. Didn't he do
Barry
like what?
Seal was the guy who got killed. He was
Yeah.
bringing in drugs from South America. Guy got murdered while he was going to testify, and he had Bush's phone number in his pocket. Barry Seal was the definitive case. He was connected to every single like big time drug dealer, Pablo Escobar, all those guys. Everybody in South America, this guy was connected to. And he got busted in Mena, Arkansas. They dropped a package off. What they used to do is they would fly in. He would fly in from South America on his little propeller plane, fly into Arkansas, drop the package off by parachute, get out of the plane, and then the guys would go at the drop spot and pick up the parachute. They show up in a fucking pickup truck or whatever they used. Well, some kids were fucking around in the woods, and these kids spotted the parachute drop. And when they went to go pick up the package, they saw these kids there. So they killed the kids, and they took the kids' bodies and they laid them on the tracks. And and the autopsy came back, said that the kids were high and they fell asleep on the tracks. So the parents said, "That's ridiculous. My children didn't do drugs. I don't believe you." So the parents paid for their own autopsies, and their own autopsies concluded that the kids were murdered, that they were stabbed. They found stab wounds on the body. So the parents started trying to figure out what the fuck went wrong, and they started figuring out who landed planes and what happened and and then they bust this guy Barry Seals. And Barry Seals was a fucking employee of the CIA who had been flying drugs into this country for decades.
Yeah.
And he said that that's just what they do. That's what they've always done. There's money out there to be made, and they know it, and they make it. And you're talking about the same people that are willing to start wars. They're willing to do that whole Gulf of Tonkin thing where we went into the Vietnam War under false pretenses and false flag attacks just in order to make sure that we're involved in disputes with other countries. And one of the things they do when we're involved with disputes of other countries is they jack their natural resources. And one of their natural resources are drugs. And when you don't think that Afghanistan is a fucking gigantic money hole for those evil scumbags that are willing to do shit like that, there's so much money there. What the fuck do you do when there's 90% of the world's anything in one spot that's worth billions of dollars? Billions. But it's a ridiculous thing. If you say it, you're a nut. If you start saying part of the reason why we're in Afghanistan is because someone's making money off drugs, that's definitely got to be something to do with it. People think you're crazy. It's not the whole reason we're there. But if you don't think it plays a part, you don't think it has a say.
What do you think? Who's making money during the war? You got to finance that fucking war.
Yeah.
What do you think finances this shit,
Well, the whole thing that happened during the Reagan administration with the Contras, and when that Michael Rupert guy busted the CIA selling drugs in Los Angeles ghettos, all that stuff that's just standard operational procedure. It just takes a while for it to pop out and get into the news sometimes, What the fuck?
Did you see Ari Shafir on